Tonight we're looking into a disturbing trend. People hit and killed in crosswalks, intersections, and by the side of the road.
We're dedicating the next 30 minutes to the impacts these crashes have on our families and what's being done right now to keep you and your loved ones safe.
There's so many things that we wish she would be here for, that she could be here for.
Do you feel like there's an appetite here on the Hill to do something about this?
I think there's a real appetite to see some protections going.
It doesn't matter if we're on foot or a bike or whatever, we all have a responsibility to keep ourselves safe.
Live, streaming, and on the KUTV app, this is KUTV 2 News at 6.
Nearly every single night for the past couple of months, it seems like we are reporting on someone hit by a vehicle, whether that's in the road, on a sidewalk, or in an intersection.
Yeah, across the state, there's been hundreds of auto pedestrian crashes this year, and tonight we're looking at the impact that these accidents have on families and what can maybe be done to address these safety concerns. We have team coverage for you tonight as we hear from the families of victims. They're going to speak to local law enforcement as well and state lawmakers about what's being done to keep everybody safe on the roads.
We want to start, though, tonight with Amanda Gilbert, who spoke to the sister of 16-year-old Maya Staples, who was hit and killed in a crosswalk in Centerville. And Amanda, the family has now created a memorial in her honor.
Yeah, and this week actually marks 1 year since Maya Staples died. Before I share her story, I do want to mention there was multiple families I could have reached out to with similar stories, which shows how all too common these auto pedestrian accidents are. Traditional isn't the word you'd use to describe Maya Staples. So instead of a traditional burial, Danny Shelley brings her daughter to her sister's memorial tree often.
A couple times a month myself.
Old's replaced with new. These butterflies.
A friend of hers came and put these on a few days ago.
Danny says this has not only been hard on Maya's family, but also on her friends.
To lose someone so important in your life that young is such a defining, horrible thing to have happen to you.
Losing someone who was just 16.
I know there's nothing that can be said to make it better.
Yeah. Danny grieves the moments her sisters missed out on.
She has a new baby niece and we would have gone to the Barbie movie.
Her message to those who've lost loved ones to auto pedestrian accidents more recently.
It hurts so much, and it's not like anything anyone can relate to unless they've been through it. Do what you can to find community.
Yeah, Danny says the grief this past year has just come in waves. Now, I also spoke with someone else in Provo, Lizzie Bettinson. She says it's been 11 months, almost a year, since she lost her cousin, Isabel Parr. The 21-year-old was killed while jogging. Now, they're still looking for the driver who hit and killed Isabel and drove off.
Because we do never, you never know, when anything like this could happen again. I hope that people are just trying to be a little bit more safer as they're driving.
And Lizzie did mention that her family is actually participating in an event this upcoming Sunday. It's World's Day of Remembrance for the road traffic victims. We're getting more information on our news app about that event. Reporting live, Amanda Gilbert, KUTV 2 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. So what kind of appetite is there to do something about pedestrian safety up on Utah's Capitol Hill?
Several lawmakers now eyeing various ways to try and keep our roads safe. Daniel Woodruff joining us live tonight with that part of our coverage. Daniel.
Heidi and Mark, it can be really dangerous to cross the road as a pedestrian, especially in school zones and construction zones. One lawmaker says he wants to address that, while another lawmaker is trying to deal with something that he says puts pedestrians and everyone else at risk. Amid a wave of pedestrians in Utah getting hit, Representative Brett Garner says things need to change. Do you feel like there's an appetite here on the Hill to do something about this?
I think there's a real appetite to see some protections going.
His proposal? Installing cameras in certain school and construction zones to crack down on speeding. Often called photocop, this would just be a pilot program with cities opting in.
State roads that are very busy, that cities can only do so much in terms of engineering them. This can help reduce the speeds in those school zones and on the construction zones.
Meanwhile, another lawmaker, Senator Todd Weiler, is focusing on something else.
We plan to have a road rage bill ready to go.
Road rage, he says, puts pedestrians and everybody else in danger. A new bill will aim to define road rage and stiffen penalties for it.
A lot of these are split-second decisions that, can have lifelong consequences if you hit somebody and paralyze them or kill them.
I asked Weiler if cities are doing enough to protect pedestrians.
I know in my particular city in Woods Cross, they've worked all summer and into the fall installing more sidewalks and curb and gutters in some, developing areas. I want kids walking to the 7-Eleven or to school to have that safety component that a curb and gutter gives you. I hope our city councils and our county councils will continue to rank safety among one of their top priorities.
These are all critical issues, and we'll see where these different legislative proposals go as the session on Capitol Hill gets started in January. Reporting live tonight, Daniel Woodruff, KUTV 2 News.
All right, Daniel, thank you. Our coverage continuing with road safety right now as we welcome Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown on the set with us.
Chief Brown, thanks so much for being with us. We want to start with some of the data, and as we sit here in the newsroom every night and listen to the scanners, it seems like these auto pedestrian crashes are happening all the time. But in October alone, there were 17 hit-and-run crashes with injuries, and we're averaging 13 a month. That is a lot when you think about all the families affected, and then the lifetime of injuries and problems that come with this.
Absolutely, it's too much. Look, to add to that, in 2023, from January to October, we've had 19 traffic-related deaths. Look, that's not a number we're okay with. One is too many.
And that's just Salt Lake City.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chief, I know you wish you could wave your magic wand and find one fix for this problem, but we all have to do our part, right?
You're right, and it comes down to individual responsibility. Look, if you're driving a car, it's a 1,000, 2,000 pound vehicle that can go up to exceed 100 miles an hour. You have to be responsible. You have to look out for pedestrians, bicyclists, motorists. You have the most responsibility because your vehicle can cause the most harm and inflict the most injury or death.
Right.
And then the same goes for people who are out on the roads. I think so many of us are caught up with maybe texting and walking, or you've got earbuds in and not paying attention. Do people who are out walking really need to be making eye contact and watching extra cautiously themselves?
Absolutely. Look, if you're a pedestrian, take a minute. Is it dark? I mean, it's getting dark earlier. Every phone we have has a light on it. Turn it on as you're crossing the street. Use the crosswalks. Watch the signals. Cross when they tell you to go. But make eye contact. Make sure you see that driver because they may not see you.
Chief, do you have as far as logistics, do you have a traffic enforcement division, or is each officer responsible for keeping an eye on what's going on the streets?
It takes all of us, our entire department. But we do have our motor squad, and that's what they focus on, enforcement and education.
Great.
We've been talking about the possibility of maybe new legislation happening up on Capitol Hill. Can we legislate people into good behavior, or is this just something where we have to make a personal choice to do better and be better?
I think it's the latter. I mean, it's all of our responsibility. If it's almost become the culture that when you're driving down the street, driving is the secondary thing you're doing. Either talking on the phone, texting, watching videos. We need to do better. Each of us, we need to take that personal accountability and put those phones down and pay attention to what we're doing.
Chief, when it comes down to the design of our roads in the city, we have very, very wide roads.
We do.
And when you're going across, there's different lanes, and everybody's got to be on their guard, and we have the flags and everything. Do you see anything endemic in the way our roads are laid out, or things that you think we can change that could have a fast impact on safety?
Well, enforcement, education, and engineering. Mayor Mendenhall introduced Vision Zero, where we're now looking at the data, the speeds, and the crashes, and see where we can redesign these roads, divert traffic, mitigate traffic, slow it down.
Yeah, that's good. And that could have an immediate impact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything specific people can do that are riding bikes, electric bikes, scooters? There's a lot of kids out and about doing that. I know my teenage son rides his bike to work and it gets dark now. Is there anything they can specifically do to make sure that they're being seen or do something different themselves?
Well, again, they need to obey the traffic laws. And traffic laws, we leave out traffic safety laws. You need to be safe. Wear high visible clothing, have a light, make sure you obey the traffic laws. Don't put yourself in a situation where you can be the victim of a crash.
Chief, thanks a lot for coming in and talking to us personally. I know that you're keeping an eye on our roads, doing the best you can. We have to do our part as well.
We do. Yeah.
It's a group effort.
Thanks, Mark and Heidi.
All right, Chief, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Chief.
We'd love to hear from you at home as well tonight. You can scan the QR code you see there on your screen to vote in our poll question tonight. What does Utah need to do to make roads safer for pedestrians? Right now, it looks like the vast majority say increases of driver fines and punishments. Close behind there, though, higher visibility crosswalks as well.
Well, it's been a dangerous season on Utah roads, especially when it comes to pedestrians.
In recent weeks, we have seen men, women, and children hit and killed while walking across the road. Jake Taylor joining us in studio tonight to show the scope of this problem across the entire state.
Yes, it has seemed nearly constant. Every day or so, another report of another person on the road hit, often killed. I took today a startling look at what we've seen in just the last several weeks.
It's a nightmare.
Since early October, a dozen pedestrians have died. This map showing a view of just how widespread this problem has been in the last month. Over 6 days in October, 4 people were killed and more grievously injured. Among the dead, a 17-year-old girl from Orem, leaving now a community in mourning.
I was kind of in shock at first.
I just don't even know how to feel. I'm numb.
Multiple crashes then happening in Cottonwood Heights, where locals have called for something to change.
I do drop off in the morning. I don't do walking because of how bad it is.
It's just terrible seeing them cross and taking their life in their hands.
2 weeks ago, a both heartbreaking and bewildering set of circumstances in St. George. November 1st, a woman walking across the road on Bluff Street hit and killed. And just 2 days later, her brother was hit and killed right in the same spot. Last week in Logan, a jogger hit and killed.
The people traveling during hours of darkness are going to be a lot more, so they're harder to see.
The surge in deaths not letting up. To start off this week, police say a man involved in a crash walked into southbound lanes on I-15, dying after being hit by multiple cars. Now, despite this recent pattern of pedestrian deaths, total traffic fatalities are a bit lower than last year so far, but there is fear the time until the end of this year could continue this recent deadly trend. Jake Taylor, KUTV 2 News.
All right, Jake, thank you. As you just saw, we've covered dozens of these crashes in just the past couple of months now. You can find our past reports and interviews with families and also with law enforcement online. You can go to KUTV.com. You can also go to the 2 News mobile app.
A brother and sister in St. George killed at the same intersection just 2 days apart. The impact this is having on their lasting sibling, the only one surviving, and what she wants done to make that specific area safer.
And we've got rain showers in California. It's been pretty dry in Utah, but we do have some moisture headed this way. We'll outline the track of the storm and the timing in my first alert forecast coming up.
Hey, let's take a look at the current road conditions out there. Again, it is dark. Be careful if you're driving.
That's right. This is right now US 89 at 1300 South in Salt Lake City. And the one thing that we're paying attention to is that we've got a lot shorter days right now. So drivers and people who are out walking about really have to keep an eye on each other. Tonight on 2 News at 6, we've been looking at the issue of auto pedestrian crashes all across the state.
Yeah, let's take a look now at the latest information from the Utah Highway Patrol. According to their latest data, so far this year, there's been 874 auto pedestrian crashes in the state of Utah. Now, 36 of those were deadly. UHP officials telling us that these kinds of crashes were relatively low this year until just last month. Fall and winter tend to be the most dangerous times for pedestrian crashes due to slick roads and, of course, as you just saw, the lack of daylight.
We are covering St. George tonight, where a woman lost her 2 siblings at the same intersection in the same week. She's hoping something can be done to make that area safer.
Yeah, both her sister and her brother were hit and killed in the span of 2 days. Emma Riley spoke with their sister about what she'd like to see improve down south in St. George.
I've been just really paying attention to a lot of things since this happened, and I noticed during the nighttime it's not as lit up.
November 1st, a pickup truck hit and killed Valerie's sister, Mardell Parkin. 2 days later, her brother Matthew Jones killed in the same spot at the intersection of 500 North and Bluff Street. Since returning to the site of the accident, she says she's noticed how dark the street is.
I would look for pedestrians to see if I could see them on the side, and just trying to picture, like, how could, like, is it possible, like, they didn't see him?
Valerie says the street seems chaotic and busy. Lately, she's more aware of driver behavior at the intersection, noticing cars running the red light as it's changing and speeding up to make the light.
The lack of paying attention. We're trying to look both ways, and so, and then I was looking at the lights and see how fast they were changing.
She says with growth in St. George and more people on the roads, maybe something should be done to prevent this from happening to anyone else.
When I started recognizing that, just paying more attention to it, I feel there are some things that may have been overlooked, or maybe like the city could, because there's more people, make it more lighting or change some things.
Such a sad story, and after speaking with Valerie, we took some of these concerns straight to St. George Police.
We asked about this specific intersection and if the department has any safety concerns there.
It's a big intersection, it's a busy intersection, but it has all the things that most intersections have, right? It has a clear crosswalk, clear cross signals. How this happened at the same place to the same family, I don't think any of us could explain that and how that happened. Both of them are, those investigations are still open, but there's different reasons for the reasons that things happen, and so that's why I say it's not just an easy say, okay, we'll add more lighting or do this or do that. I mean, there's a myriad of things that need to be looked at when considering, these kinds of intersections.
During the same interview, we also asked St. George Police about what is being done citywide to address pedestrian safety.
There's been intersections where they have brought the curbing out to almost the fog line at certain intersections so that people have to turn or go straight from the same lane because of the pedestrians that are around the university, or if we need to restripe an intersection to help it flow better. We've had those discussions. We're going to continue to have those discussions. We've met about the traffic, and that's where this whole idea of Watcher 6 come from, was to just educate people and hope that they will listen and do better when they're driving.
Yeah, we can all do that for sure. You heard Officer Mitchell mention Watch Your 6 campaign. It was created a few years ago to help educate drivers about these 6 factors that lead to crashes and injuries. Those include following too close, failure to yield, failure to stop at lights, improper turns, distracted and careless driving, and DUI. We want to hear from you at home. Scan the QR code on your screen if you'd like to vote on our poll. What does Utah need to do to make roads safer for pedestrians? You can chime in, give us your opinion right now. 32% say increase driver fines and make the punishments worse. 30% say higher visibility at crosswalks will help. 23% say more lighting on the road to increase visibility for everybody. And it's not just auto pedestrian crashes, a string of violent road rage cases prompting lawmakers to take action.
A new bill is coming out of committee on the Hill. Its state plans to launch an anti-road rage public service campaign. The new bill, which passed a committee today, defines road rage as a crime by somebody who's driving or riding in a car with the intent to endanger or intimidate someone in another car. Also in that same bill, police would have the option to seize a vehicle used in a road rage incident, and there would be tougher penalties for people who commit a road rage crime.
We've been covering road rage extensively here at KUTV. Back in June, we had a road rage town hall meeting. It was very informative and enlightening. You can watch the entire special, including some of our discussions with law enforcement and lawmakers. That we have it for you on KUTV2 News and the YouTube page as well.
Well, here are the high temperatures today. Say goodbye to the 60s and say goodbye to the 60s down in southern Utah as well. We've got some rain moving in tonight. We'll tell you who's going to get wet for the morning commute. That's in my first alert forecast coming up.